Jesus says, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the sons of God." What then does peacemaking involve, and what does this have to do with the church's political witness? Biblical peacemaking is the cessation of hostilities between nations and individuals as a sign of God's inbreaking kingdom. Peacemaking involves assessing the claims of groups in conflict and making a judgment about who is correct and who is incorrect. Peacemaking, then, cannot be separated from truth-telling. The church's witness does not involve simply denouncing the excesses of both sides and making moral equivalences. It involves calling injustice by its name. If the church is going to be on the side of peace in America, there has to be an honest account of what has happened to black and brown people in this country. Moderation, or the middle ground, is not always the loci of righteousness. Housing discrimination, then, has to be named. Unequal sentences has to be named. Unfair policing has to be named. And brothers and sisters, sexism and the abuse and commodification of the black female body has to end. You don't got to clap for it to be true. It's okay. Otherwise, any peace is false and non-biblical. But beyond naming, there has to be a righting of wrongs and some vision for the restoration of relationships. The call to be peacemakers, then, is the call for the church to enter the messy world of politics and point the way towards a better way of being human. This peacemaking must be corporate and deal with ethnic groups and nations in enmity with one another, and it must be personal. When it is corporate, we're testifying to the universal reign of Jesus. When it is interpersonal, we're being witness to the work that God has done in our heart. The most interesting thing about peacemaking, and I'll leave it alone, I'm about to leave you all alone, is it does not assume that those who are at enmity with one another are believers. Jesus does not say, make peace between Christians, but make peace. He also doesn't say, make peace by making them Christians, but make peace. Why? Because I want to say that peacemaking is pre-evangelistic. Through our efforts to bring peace, we show the world the kind of king and kingdom that we represent. So the question that ought to come is, why do you Christians care about this stuff? And then we say, well, let me tell you about somebody. Then I'll bring Justin up here to close, because I didn't do that part. But then I'll bring him up. This is why I was telling someone today after listening to those talks, it's like, this is why I became an academic, because I can't do that. God bless us. God bless us. Okay. He doesn't say establish peacemaking and Christians make peace. Because peacemaking bears witness to the king and his kingdom. The outcome of peacemaking is to introduce people to the kingdom of God. Therefore, the work of justice, when understood as a direct testimony to God's kingdom, is evangelistic in its ultimate aims. It is part, not the whole of, God's work of reconciling all things to himself.